Oh, yeah. It's that time again. We gotta talk about LeBron James. It's a tale as old as time. The rumors started in 2018. And it's still going strong. Everybody. The rumor's 7 years long. But the Sixers suck and the process failed. So once again, we're talking about LeBron James. What the... Nah, for real, there is, You see what I'm saying, bro? If anything positive would have happened over the course of these 7 years, we would not be circling right back to a LeBron James rumor. But there are a couple of ways that it makes sense. It's July 22nd. Give me a break, all right? But there are a couple of ways that it makes a little bit of sense. There's two articles here, one from Yahoo Sports and one from, what is this? SportsIllustrated.com. We're going to talk about those. Other than that, Paul George retracted something that he said a couple of weeks ago, and that is very important. There's actually nothing more important than reacting to Podcast P. Andre Drummond has made a confession on Twitter, and anything else you guys want to talk about, all right? Thanks for being here. 130 people up here on July 22nd with realistically nothing to talk about. Maybe you're just as bored as I am. Thank you for being here. And for that, hit the like button. Give me 139,000 likes, okay? Let's get down to business. Daryl Morey is sick with envy of the Clippers roster. That's actually funny. I see what you did. I was going to argue with that, but I see what you did, bro. The Clippers roster is so old. And they're on social media talking about who's going to stop the Clippers. The 76ers West. They have taken the crown as the you know what, last year the Clippers were like, you know what? We're not going to actually win with this team. But one thing I am tired of is the 76ers having the crown for the oldest roster in the NBA. So let's outdo them this summer and sign everybody that probably should be retired. Yes, Daryl Morey is sick with envy. And Nick Nurse is actually sick with envy also, because Nick Nurse would love nothing more than to be able to play Chris Paul, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Bradley Beal, no defense, get ran off the floor the first 20 games of a season by a bunch of young teams with no big names on their entire roster. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But let's get to the important part, man. We got to talk about 76ers linked to blockbuster trade proposal for four-time MVP LeBron James. Very strategic headline writing here by Yahoo Sports. Let me break it down for you. They like to use the word blockbuster. When you see something like this pop up in a news section of an app, or you just Google Sixers or whatever, the first couple of words you're going to see is 76ers linked to blockbuster trade. And that gets you here on the page, because the second half of the headline is the actual information, which is, and even if you just saw 76ers linked to blockbuster trade proposal for four-time MVP, you're like, who could that be? and it's LeBron James. So A1 5-star clickbait from Yahoo Sports. And yes, me reacting to clickbait is clickbait also. What is the word for reacting to clickbait because you know it's going to get clicks? Anyway, let's see what they said in the article. I have not read it yet. And so just my honest reaction to two of these articles about LeBron James to Philly, okay? Well, actually, before I read the article, I want to say this. I don't know if I was on board in 2018. I think I was because he was a free agent. I would trade for LeBron James right now. And the only reason I would do that, well, two reasons. The 76ers don't have a point guard. Okay. I think Jared McCain shows point guard tendencies. I don't know if you can play Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey together. I think Tyrese Maxey is a two-guard and is best suited coming off screens and running across the baseline and getting downhill and using his speed off ball. And I've always thought the 76ers need a facilitator next to him. It's going on year 6 now. The 76ers still have not put a facilitator next to him because roster construction just isn't Daryl Morey's strong suit. I would trade for LeBron James and play him as a 6'8", 250-pound point guard, which he's essentially been his whole career. He's just been a freak athlete and incredible scorer that, you know, sometimes I think his point guard tendencies get overshadowed by the other things he's been able to do in his career and his style of play. But realistically, anybody that's watched LeBron James his whole career, he's a point guard. He's always been a point guard. There's a play that sticks in my mind that I never forgot where on the Cleveland team with Kyrie Irving, Kyrie runs a play from the top of the key, fails to hit the man coming off the screen in the corner. LeBron's pointing to him. The very next play, LeBron takes the ball, runs the exact same play, hits the player in the corner for a wide open three. He's always been a point guard. The 76ers need a big, strong, facilitating point guard. That is LeBron James. Even on the downside of his career, even if he's on the last year or two of his career, it would make perfect sense for the 76ers to have LeBron James at point guard. It would also sell tickets. After last season, tickets plummeted to lower than the average price to get into a Caitlin Clark-less WNBA game. The tickets were about $1. I'm guessing those tickets are probably like $2 or $3. So there's those two reasons I would trade for LeBron James. The other reason, and probably the most important reason I would trade for LeBron James, is to get rid of Paul George's contract. And I know we can't get rid of Joel Embiid's contract. I know we can't get rid of both of them. That's just a pipe dream. I would use Paul George's contract to trade for LeBron James. LeBron James, 42, and is healthier than Paul George, who just injured his knee in a workout and had surgery. If it would get me off of Paul George's contract, I would do it anyway. Even if it's for 1 year of LeBron James, I don't really care. Get off of that contract. It's terrible. There's 3 years left. He's already injured again. That's the second reason I would do it. Now let's see what Yahoo Sports says about this. Let's see if they meant, well, there's a photo of Paul George, so I guess they're going to mention Paul George. The Philadelphia 76ers are coming off an extremely disappointing, injury-riddled 24-25 campaign. Injury-riddled because everybody's old. Their 24-58 record last season was largely a result of injuries to key players. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, was he really hurt or did they just commit to the tank the second part of the year? While team's future success hinges on health, Fox Sports speculates that LeBron James could take a leap of faith and join the high upside team if he ultimately requests a trade. There's people talking about LeBron James working a buyout with the Lakers. That doesn't really make sense for the Lakers. I think I said during the season last season, once they traded for Luka Doncic, I don't think LeBron James and Luka Doncic make sense together. They don't make sense together. You should never have another ball-dominant player playing alongside Luka Doncic or vice versa, LeBron James. They're both point guards, realistically. And then when you look at the fact that LeBron doesn't really play any defense anymore at this stage of his career, or a lot, lesser of a level than he did throughout his career, and Luka Doncic can't guard my 9-year-old, you got two bad defenders on the team who both need the ball in their hands. Never made sense to me. And I didn't think it was going to work anyway. And LeBron James knows that they traded for Luka Doncic to start a youth movement to keep the Lakers relevant for NBA ratings so ESPN doesn't crumble, even though probably in the next 10 years live TV won't even exist anymore. But anyway, a buyout doesn't make any sense for the Lakers. A trade makes sense for the Lakers. And that is what's going to happen. Should the 4-time MVP waive his no-trade clause? Does he have a no-trade clause? Yeah. Well, he could waive his no-trade clause. If he wants to go somewhere and play for 2 more years and then retire and walk off into the sunset, right? Put James, a star guard, Tyrese Maxey, and Philadelphia's compelling young core in the 76ers could be at least a top 8 seed in the Eastern. At least a top 8 seed. The bar is in hell, ladies and gentlemen. We are trying to make moves to be at least a top 8 seed. Plus, if Embiid can return at some point during the season. The year is 3050. And Sixers fans, half of them in nursing homes, are still wondering, will Joel Embiid return this upcoming season? Philadelphia then has a 3-headed scoring monster in Embiid, Maxey, and James, and it is a legitimate threat in the East. You know, I said this roster is a championship contender if Embiid is healthy. And when I say if Embiid is healthy, I'm talking 2023 MVP level Joel Embiid. What I saw 2 years ago in the Knicks series coming back from knee surgery, he was about 50%. There's nothing that shows me Joel Embiid is trending back upward. And now after he does an interview in his own house with a guy that he paid to interview him, kind of like, it reminded me of like the beginning of the movie Titanic where they're interviewing the old lady. He doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like he cares. He doesn't seem like he's ready to get back to being that. He kind of talks and sounds like he's retired already. So Joel Embiid returning to a scoring monster, yeah, we would all love to see that happen. It just seems so damn unrealistic. Bron dishing out to Maxey, McCain, and VJ is fire. I agree, but we're gonna need some defense in that lineup, bro. But I agree. A healthy trio of Maxey, Embiid, and James could be one of the league's most dangerous. A healthy trio, of course. A healthy trio of Joel Embiid and 2 guys off of the movie The Ringer is the league's most dangerous. You know, no matter how much I rip that article or talk about how I feel like Joel Embiid doesn't care anymore or whatever, I never talk about his talent or what he was when he was healthy. Healthy Joel Embiid is the highest point per minute in NBA history. He's the most skilled center I've ever seen. I just came to the conclusion he doesn't seem like he has that extra gear when times get the toughest, and now I don't even know if he's ever going to be healthy again, and now I get, months full of excuses and all this shit, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, healthy Embiid with anybody is a dangerous team. Sixers would also gain future cap flexibility by parting ways with Paul George. Oh yeah, we knew that was going to be in here. Philadelphia would retain its young core. What are they saying they would trade alongside Paul George to land LeBron James? Philly would retain its young core, which includes Jared McCain and VJ Edgecombe. McCain was the front-runner Rookie of the Year. If Embiid stays relatively healthy and both prospects contribute, the 76ers have the pieces to make a playoff run, provided Embiid can make... So there's no mention in this article about what the 76ers are trading to the Lakers in this LeBron James to Philly idea. Why the hell would the Lakers? Well, I don't know, man. Because like I just said, the Lakers are a terrible defensive team. Signing DeAndre Ayton doesn't help that. It actually probably hurts that. They are still a terrible defensive team. Paul George, when healthy, still a very, very good perimeter defender with his size, his lateral movement, his hand speed, all of those types of things. So maybe the Lakers would be interested in taking a chance at Paul George as a defender. And if healthy, a catch and shoot guy. 2 years ago, played 74 games for the Clippers, averaged 22 points per game, and was 45% on catch and shoot threes, leading the NBA. Yes, and the 76ers fell for it, signed him to a max contract. He immediately broke his knees 17 times in a row, and here we are. But I guess those are the reasons you could say the Lakers would be interested in Paul George. Paul George would be interested in the Lakers for two reasons. He's from LA, and he loves podcasting. I don't really know what that has to do with LA. You can podcast anywhere, but I guess he could build a nice, big, giant podcast studio in LA. Podcast P, right on whatever the fuck boulevard. Come on down. But no, you would have to give up something else for the Lakers to take on Paul George's contract. Probably a 2028 unprotected Clippers pick, which I would not want to part ways with just to get off of Paul George's contract. Now, if the 76ers feel like landing LeBron James, even at his age, makes them a title contender, then maybe they would trade Paul George in that 2028 Clippers unprotected first-round pick. And you know who's crazy enough? Do you know who is delusional enough to think that a 42-year-old former four-time MVP makes you a title contender? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to one Daryl Morey. All right, that's the first article. They didn't say anything about what the 76ers would give up. Let's see what this other one says, man. Sixers cited as potential trade partner for Lakers star LeBron James. Should Sixers entertain the idea of trading for LeBron James? Long before he took over the Philadelphia front office, Daryl Morey built a reputation for constantly pursuing star talent past their prime. Put that in there. As the offseason rages on, they've been connected to one of the most talked about players in the league this summer. Since he opted into his player option for next season, they're going to trade him. LeBron opted into his player option. Lakers fans were mad. Why would he not opt into his player option? It's $50 million. He was going to do that. Did he strap the Lakers free agent offseason by doing that? Absolutely. Does LeBron James care about the future of the Lakers? Absolutely not. This is going to be the third team that LeBron James went to, squeezed dry, and walked away after all of their assets have been alleviated. That's just what LeBron James does. I think LeBron James is one of the best talents to ever play basketball, but he does kind of go to a team, milk them dry by telling the front office, we got to trade this guy, and this guy, and put these guys on the team. Do what I say. I'm LeBron James. They say, okay, that's LeBron James. And then he walks away, and they have no capital and no cap space and no draft picks. He doesn't care about the future of the Lakers. Why would he? As an aging star who is now playing on an expiring contract, many believe LeBron could be on the move. Let's see what they said about LeBron trading, the Sixers trading for LeBron. Put James with a star guard Tyrese Maxey. Wait, this is... Did I just read an article paraphrasing this article that I'm reading? Put James with star guard Tyrese Maxey in Philadelphia's compelling young core, and the 76ers could be at least a top 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. Indiana Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton, the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum. The Indiana Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton and the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum. What does that mean? Top 8 seed in the Eastern Conference, reeling in injuries. Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, torn Achilles. Jason Tatum, torn Achilles. I mean, you should be a top 8 seed, even without LeBron James or Joel Embiid. Plus, if Embiid can return at some point during the season. And the 76ers last year were not a 24-win team, by the way. That was the most intentional, shameless tanking we've ever seen. And it resulted in VJ Edgecombe, who is going to be probably a high-level role player. They still should have drafted Ace Bailey. I'm going to say that a million times because of his upside, but whatever. If Embiid can return at some point during the season, Philadelphia is a three-headed scoring monster. This is a franchise built to contend right now. Why do people keep saying that? Of course, that potential being realized is heavily reliant on health, delusion, mushrooms, angel dust, crystal meth, whatever else you guys are doing that makes you think the 76ers are a franchise built to contend right now. What do we got? Part with Paul George, make things work financially. Seeing that team has made it clear they want a larger sample size of the big three in action to move the Magna unlikely. Also, an article written that shows nothing for the Lakers or why the Lakers would even consider doing that. But it is being talked about. Now, I am going to make a realistic prediction. All jokes aside, I'm just up here having fun. Hope I'm giving you 30 minutes to an hour of random entertainment while you're at work or whatever you're doing. My most realistic prediction for LeBron James is that he ends up on the Cleveland Cavaliers for the final year of his career. And it would just make perfect sense. He started in Cleveland. He went back to Cleveland, won a championship, goes to LA. Now he goes back to his hometown, Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't know what the Cavs have to trade to get LeBron over there. The Lakers want to get rid of that $50 million player option. That's what they want to get rid of. But if they keep Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, maybe they trade Darius Garland. I don't know. I wouldn't trade Evan Mobley. I wouldn't be against splitting up Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell if I feel like it gets me a championship. And maybe LeBron James, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, everybody wins a championship in Cleveland as the final year of LeBron James' career. And it is a Kobe Bryant-esque farewell tour. Every single arena he goes to, everybody celebrates it his last time there and all of those types of things. That's my personal prediction. LeBron James has a no-trade clause. He's only going to waive it if it's where he wants to go. The Lakers need to desperately... They got to get him out of there if they want to build that team around Luka Doncic. Unless they just take a gap year, like Daryl Morey likes to do with bad contracts. Or a gap 3 years with Tobias Harris. But I think that's my prediction. I think LeBron James ends up in Cleveland. There is a 2% chance. Not even 2% chance that he ends up in Philly. I just wanted to read those articles live and react to them. And honestly, they were incredibly underwhelming. So I got clickbaited, and in turn, you got clickbaited too. But thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Let's talk about Paul George's take on Ace Bailey, because prior to the draft, leading up to the draft, Ace Bailey and his agent, who is kind of a hack, seems like a hack, I don't know. They were doing this thing like, we're not going to this team, we're not going to that team. Tell that team we're not signing with them if they draft us. Tell that team we don't want to go there, blah, blah, blah. Danny Ainge called their bluff. Danny Ainge said, I'm in charge here. Shut the fuck up. I'm drafting you. And I'm going to talk about what I think Daryl Morey should have done. I had rants leading up to the draft. I had a rant on draft night. It is what it is. But Paul George leading up to the draft said that, that was a bad idea for Ace Bailey to do. Here's where he said it, right? Sources say Bailey's camp informed interested teams that it believes he's a top 3 player in the draft, but also seeks a clear path to stardom. Paul George's take on that on his podcast was, where's it at, bro? I want to retract what I said. What was the original thing that he said? Last month, the Philadelphia 76ers star said, Ace Bailey can't get mad if his draft stock drops because you're not in a position to make those demands. I thought he was right. I thought he shouldn't have been speaking on a potential 76ers draft pick on a recorded podcast that you're putting on the internet, but Paul George is kind of a fucking idiot, if we're being honest. And here's what he said now. I want to retract what I said on the situation. How can we get on a kid who knows what he wants? We're not in his shoes. He wants to do it his way. He's good enough. He's got the talent. He's going to go where he wants to go, which that's his decision. It could have backfired, but it didn't. It did backfire. They did not want to go to the Utah Jazz. They wanted to go specifically to the Washington Wizards. So it 100% backfired. Danny Ainge said, haha, fuck you. I'm drafting you. And he drafted him. Didn't say a word. Didn't comment on it at all. Just did not, just absolutely called their bluff and did not budge on what him and his agent was trying to do. So I don't know where Paul George is getting this. It didn't backfire because it did. Everybody has their own path. However you want to trailblaze, that's on you. Who are we to say, nah, you got to do it this way, that way? Well, you're the one that said it. So Podcast P is not standing on business on his Podcast P show. He is saying things on his podcast, and then he is saying, you know what? I take it back. Anyway, I want to double down on my Ace Bailey prediction and my Ace Bailey take, because what I thought the 76ers should have done on draft night, I still believe. Danny Ainge did what Daryl Morey should have done. I think when it's all said and done, the 76ers are going to regret not drafting Ace Bailey. I like VJ Edgecombe. I think he's going to be a high-level role player. Maybe he becomes Jimmy Butler. Right? But Jimmy Butler and peak Tracy McGrady, not the same. Ace Bailey, 6'9", 210, can handle the rock, can shoot the rock, and can jump out the damn gym, and can block the ball off the top of the backboard. Is a basketball specimen that you just don't pass up on. And Daryl Morey got spooked by Omar Cooper and the whole idea. Daryl Morey got spooked, and he passed on Ace Bailey. And it only took me one Summer League game of Ace Bailey to see that he looked like what I remember of a young Tracy McGrady in an Orlando Magic jersey. And Ace Bailey and Cooper Flagg are two talents out of this draft that were miles ahead of everybody else as far as upside. If Ace Bailey was in last year's draft, he would have been a unanimous number one pick, no questions asked, not even hinted at. If Ace Bailey was in a lot of drafts, he would have been the number one overall pick. I think 7 years from now, we're going to be watching Ace Bailey, and we're going to be saying, wow, he was right there, and Daryl Morey didn't draft him. That's my take on that, bro. That kid's a superstar waiting to happen. He's immature. The whole thing they did before the draft was fucking stupid, to be honest with you, but he's a kid. When he's 26, 27 years old, he's going to be giving people 40 and 50 pieces left and right. That's what I think. Feel free to disagree if you want to. Other than that, we got a tweet from Andre Drummond last night. He wants to be in a Tyler Perry movie. That's the only update I have, I think, man. Andre Drummond wants to be an actor. Paul George is a podcaster. And Joel Embiid is being interviewed in his living room like the survivor of the Titanic. And the 76ers are seemingly unserious about basketball. I do remember Nick Nurse talking about the roster, or Daryl Morey talking about the roster. And when he talks about the center position, he says in order, Joel Embiid, Andre Drummond, Adem Bona. So I'm letting you guys know right now, we all want to see Adem Bona. We all think it's Adem Bona time. If Joel Embiid is in and out of the lineup all season, you are going to see a lot of Andre Drummond. And if Nick Nurse has anything to do with it, you're going to see a lot of Andre Drummond. You're probably going to see Janiah Broome at center, and it will be a layup line, and they will lack athleticism just like they did last year. And the coach and the GM will probably get fired in the first couple of weeks of the season, and then we will finally be able to move on and bring in a GM that tries to get us out of these situations, man. Anything else we want to talk about? There was an article that I wanted to look at that was ranking the top, where is it at? NBA front office rankings. Yo, what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? NBA front office rankings. Where do you have the Philadelphia 76ers front office out of 1 to 30 in the NBA? Stephen Williams says last. New team falls behind the Bulls at number 30. So we got a little bit of a CBS clickbait headline here. They're not telling us who the new team is, so we got to check it out. We got to see who the new team is. They had the Bulls at number 30 on the last one that they did. And that's probably because the Chicago Bulls traded Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Alex Caruso, and did not get a single first-round pick out of any of those players. Let's see who lands at number 30 so far this offseason. OKC on top, Lakers and Mavericks low on the list. New team falls behind the Bulls at number 30. Leroy says 26th. D-Fry says 25th. Let's see the list, man. Before we begin, something to keep in mind. Blah, 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 blah. All right, number 1, Oklahoma City Thunder. Fair. Tanked. I mean, shamelessly tanked, but built the right way. Hit on some big-time draft picks. Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren. Made some key trades. Isaiah Hartenstein. That was a free agent signing. Alex Caruso was a big-time trade. You know, got rid of players at the right time. Targeted players that fit. Players that help specific. Like, they just did it the right way. Number 1. Number 2, Boston Celtics. All right. We got to give that to the Boston Celtics, even though Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. And I would have split up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown a long time ago. And I think they overpaid Jaylen Brown. He's not even close to a $300 million player. Nah, I'm probably not putting Boston up there, to be honest with you. But the Derek White trade did a lot more for the Boston Celtics than people want to admit. I've been calling Derek White the best player on the Boston Celtics for a couple of years now. And the Drew Holiday trade and all that. So Boston Celtics number 2. San Antonio Spurs number 3. Front office? Why? Because they tanked and drafted Victor Wembanyama? And then tanked and drafted Dylan Harper? I mean, I don't know. You would have to have a little bit of success with that core to be able to say that they're number 3 front office, right? You wouldn't even see them play together yet. Anyway. Number 4, Houston Rockets. Got to give it to them. Build a strong defensive team. Youth, athleticism, wings. Wings! Daryl Morey, wings! Where are the wings? And then they flipped a couple of things to bring in a solidified, historic NBA scorer to take them to the next level in the playoffs because they were the number 2 seed in the West. But once the playoffs started, you know, Jalen Green folded like a lawn chair, pulled off his best Tobias Harris impression or Michael Porter Jr. impression or whatever you want to call it. I'm cool with the Rockets at 4. Cavs at 5. They did build a strong team. They did build a strong team, man. They did build a strong... New York Knicks at 6. Front office? I'm not putting the Knicks that high, bro. I'm not putting the Knicks that high. I still don't even think the Karl-Anthony Towns trade made them better. And now I think they're in a situation where you're trying to play Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns on the floor together, and neither of them can guard my 9-year-old son downstairs. I'm not putting the Knicks that high, but let's see where the Sixers are, man. Indiana Pacers built a strong team through the draft. Got to give it to them. Utah Jazz. I mean, it's Danny Ainge, but Utah Jazz? We're not ranking teams, we're ranking front offices. But it's still like ranking teams, right? Because you're looking at what the front office has done lately. All right, I guess, you know, Danny Ainge turned Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert into $1 million first-round picks, but he's sat on Lauri Markkanen for way too long. The dude's almost past his prime at this point. He's refused to trade him for so long. He's kind of pulling a Daryl Morey with the Lauri Markkanen. But it is Danny Ainge, and I have faith that he's probably going to flip the Utah Jazz into a contender at some point because Danny Ainge is, I personally feel like... Top 10. Top 10. The Philadelphia 76ers with 2 of the worst contracts maybe ever signed in the history of the NBA on the same team right now. Couldn't get the dudes on the floor last year. Won 24 games. Absolutely untradeable contracts with 0 cap space. Their offseason signing was Hunter Salas, bro. Their offseason signing was Trendon Watford. I like him, but give me a fucking break. Number 9, the 9th best front office in the league, is the Philadelphia 76ers. CBS Sports, with all due respect, you are smoking something that you need to put down. Put it in the ashtray immediately. Sam Quinn. Put it out, bro. Get off the weed. How in the world would you have the 76ers at 9th? Let's hear his reasoning. We don't think of Daryl Morey as a great drafter because of how veteran-heavy his Houston rosters typically were, but just look at the picks he's made in Philadelphia. Maxey, McCain, Isaiah Joe, Paul Reed, Adem Bona, Justin Edwards, VJ Edgecombe. He's been good at drafting. Is that like some... I mean, you listed it like it was Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden back-to-back-to-back, or Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Am I missing something here? That success in the draft is largely what's keeping Philadelphia afloat. Afloat! Oh my. Building this way can cause other problems on the roster. Philadelphia's fixation on creating cap space in 2024 is part of what led to the breakdown in its relationship with James Harden in 2020. Number 9 is absolutely out of control. It's absolutely out of pocket, as the kids say, to list the 76ers as the 9th best front office in the NBA. Let's see who fell to last behind the Chicago Bulls. The New Orleans Pelicans. Or the Bulls are 29th. Wow. Sacramento Kings. Dude, the Sacramento Kings should be 30th. This team traded De'Aaron Fox. They traded Tyrese Halliburton. They traded Domantas Sabonis. No, they traded for Domantas Sabonis. They traded Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox and ended up with the Chicago Bulls leftovers, Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. And they're going absolutely nowhere anytime soon. I would have the Kings at 30, to be honest. Oh! Or would I have the Suns at 30? The Suns got to be 30. The Suns go to the NBA Finals. 2 years later, they trade Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and every draft pick they own until 2090 for Kevin Durant. And then they trade 100 second-round picks for the worst contract in basketball at the time, Bradley Beal. And they stink up the joint and have to trade Kevin Durant for Jalen Green. So essentially they traded Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and 5 first-round picks for Jalen Green. The Phoenix Suns might have to be 30, bro. Dallas Mavericks. How does a team that just landed Cooper Flagg, how are they 26th? Yeah, they traded Luka Doncic, but they just landed Cooper Flagg, bro. Raptors. Bucks 24th. Blazers. Yeah, I don't know. But that was fun. That was a fun read, man. I absolutely cannot believe. I did not expect the 76ers to be anywhere close to top 10. Top 10. Morey basically saved his job by getting lucky in the draft lottery. That's it. Yeah. And still didn't draft the player with the highest upside. Let's do a rapid fire Q&A real quick before I get out of here, man. Throw some questions, hot takes, comments, anything you want in the chat for the next like 10 or so minutes. And I will read them and react to them. Sixers ahead of the Nuggets. What are we talking about? They were ranked they were ranked 10th in February. They went up 1 spot. The 76ers somehow went up a spot after having 3 max contracts on their roster and tanking. We might be the 9th because the NBA has always had a majority of awfully ran teams, like 80% are clueless, hence Boston and LA have half the championships. Not wrong. Not wrong about that. I think I have a chat filter on that I want to turn off maybe. So you guys can drop your takes and questions a little faster. There we go. What do you think about Carter Bryant Summer League? Carter Bryant. Is that a 76ers player? Carter Bryant Summer League. What we learned about Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant? Spurs. Oh, hell, bro. I didn't even take the time to watch 76ers Summer League games after VJ Edgecombe was down in Game 2. Because I was watching Jalen Hood-Schifino basically headbutt the ball into the 4th row. You think I watched the Spurs Summer League? I did not. I'm sorry, man. But thank you for the question. I'm not roasting you at all, but I did not. I did not watch the Spurs Summer League. Besides Ace, who do you think we are going to regret not drafting? Nobody. I had VJ Edgecombe at number 4. I think I had VJ Edgecombe at number 4 no matter what. Janai Broom, the best big man in the draft. You learned that from the Summer League. Look, I think he has some intangibles. I think he has some think he has some skill sets the 76ers can use. I think he's probably the best rebounder on this entire roster right now, which is sad. But it's because he's great at positioning and he's a very smart player. But Johni Broome's lack of athleticism, Johni Broome's inability to move laterally or jump is going to render him kind of unplayable in the NBA. Alongside Joel Embiid, if Joel Embiid was at his peak and was still a dominant rim protector, I could see Johni Broome playing the 4, especially because he's been a pretty good three-point shooter in the summer league, and if he keeps that up in the NBA, I think he'd play a pretty good 4. You're going to need a big defensive center next to Johni Broome, and I mean maybe a Johni Broome Adem Bona lineup off the bench isn't terrible. You know, Adem Bona's that big rim protector. And I think, at least what I saw in the Summer League, Johni Broome can stretch the floor a little bit. But I just think Johni Broome under Nick Nurse is going to get the Gershon Yabusele treatment, which is he's going to get put in terrible defensive situations all game long, all season long. He's going to get put on an island, on a pick-and-roll island. Guards are going to blow by him, and even though he has great positioning, he's going to have a tough time, I think, rebounding against NBA bigs because he can't jump higher than George Niang. That's honestly what I think. I'm not trying to be negative. That's honestly what I think. Trey Johnson's the guy we're going to look at and think, man, he's tempting. Do you guys think VJ Edgecombe becomes a consistent three-point shooter in the NBA? Because they told me he can't shoot. I saw his percentages in college. They weren't terrible. But that's from the college three-point line. And he only played 2 summer league games. But his three-point shooting was absolutely horrendous in both of those games. I'm obviously not saying he can't improve. I mean, Tyrese Maxey shot 29% in college and became a 42% three-point shooter after one offseason, I believe. So he can put in the work and improve. I think his jump shot form is there. I think it's just reps probably for VJ Edgecombe getting comfortable from the NBA distance and things like that as far as three-point shooting. Yeah, exactly. D-Fry, I agree. I think his work ethic, he'll work on everything needed to be successful. He won't be McCain. Well, I think he's a different player than McCain. I think he's an athletic freak. I think VJ Edgecombe, he has the ability to become an Anthony Edwards. He does. And I talk about we're going to regret not drafting Ace Bailey all the time. But I don't think I've ever talked about VJ and said he can't. I just see the likeliness of which one could become a superstar. I'm always going to go Ace Bailey. But, you know, if you look at Anthony Edwards, he's 6'4", 215, 220. VJ Edgecombe is 6'5". He's light, though. Right now, he's 19 years old, but he's about, 195? If VJ Edgecombe, you know, continues to grow and grows into himself and puts on some muscle and gets around 215, 220, 6'5", 220, and an athletic demon and a reliable three-point shot. Now, I don't know if his ISO game develops either with his, you know, dribbling skills and being able to take guys off the dribble and get to the rack in an ISO situation. Those things need to develop too. But if all goes well, VJ Edgecombe could damn well become a star. And when you say, well, Anthony Edwards was a unanimous #1 pick, VJ Edgecombe in last year's draft would have been the #1 overall pick. I really think he would have over Richeche and Alex Sarr. I really think so. So, you know, whenever you talk about a draft, you always got to look at the talent that was in the draft. So, you know, I love the prospect of Ace Bailey. I'm always going to say that, but I'm not like pissed off that the 76ers drafted VJ Edgecombe. We'll see what happens, man. McCain needs to start at point guard. I said that after he dropped 35 and 10 against the Cavs last year, and Nick Nurse, the very next game, pulled him out in the fourth quarter when he had 29. He almost had back-to-back 30 pieces. Nick Nurse pulled him out of the game and put Kyle Lowry in there the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. These are things that we watched Nick Nurse do. Will Nick Nurse actually play Jared McCain at point guard? Probably not. Probably not. I think all of the things that we think the 76ers should do, roster-wise, lineup-wise, coaching-wise, contract-wise, we're going to have to wait another year, I think, for all of those things to happen because everybody has to get fired before any of those things happen. Grimes won't take a back seat. Now he got a taste as the tank commander. Yeah, I think the starting lineup if the 76ers end up re-signing Quentin Grimes is going to be Maxey at the 1 and Grimes at the 2. There's not a true pick and roll facilitator in that situation. McCain is sneaky good passer, 3-level scoring, makes other guys shots. I agree. I agree with that, man. I'm okay with Edgecombe. People compare his game to D. Wade. Ace is cool. You say his game like McGrady, but who got more rings? Wade or McGrady? Well, Tracy McGrady did not have the luxury of, in the first couple of years of his career, playing alongside the most dominant center in the history of the NBA, Shaquille O'Neal. Dwayne Wade was great from a young age. He poised, played like a veteran when he was like 24 years old. It was crazy. It was really like people were talking about LeBron and people were talking about Carmelo. And Dwayne Wade, as like a sophomore in the NBA, was out there playing like a playoff veteran, you know. But those rosters were incredible, and I'll say it straight up: if young Tracy McGrady got to play alongside Shaquille O'Neal in those years, he probably would have won a championship also. So I don't always think rings are the end all be all of arguments. Dwayne Wade's a better player than Tracy McGrady. I agree with that. When it's all said and done, I agree with that. But I think Tracy McGrady is severely underrated because of the teams that he played on and the fact that he never won a championship. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's all I got today, man. Thank you guys for hanging out, man. Thank you for tuning in once again. I'm trying to make it a point. I'm trying to hold myself to going live every single day around 12, 1 or 2 o'clock, even if there's very, very little for me to talk about. So stay tuned, man. You guys keep the show going, man. Thank you. Hit the like button, subscribe, all those things. Have a wonderful day. I'm out.